Late Stage Yapitalism.
Welcome to Late Stage Yapitalism, where each one of us brings a topic and we yap about it. I'm Nico.
I'm Dash.
I'm Stanley.
And today we're starting with...
Nico.
Alright.
First topic.
So, my topic for the day is... You're in New York City. And you're like an office worker. You're going to work. And you arrive in the city. And you've just thought about a really good joke. A really good joke. And you want to tell someone. But then, boom! 9/11 happens. So you can't... Who are you going to tell the joke now? People don't want to laugh. You have this really, really good joke that you want to tell someone, a friend or something, but it's not the right time.
Okay.
When and how do you let this great joke out?
So I'd be supporting the rescue efforts. I'd be down there, the ashes in my face, it's burning. I try my best to be look, I'm able-bodied, I do what I can. And I'm as I'm taking debris out, looking for people, every time we successfully find one and crack a joke. It'll be a classic joke. It's let me lift your spirits. I know shit's gone down, just the worst day in the history of the world for you, but let me break this ice. Here's a joke for you as I left the person out into safety.
Do you think
give a little bit of humanity to them?
Do you think they'd be responsive to the joke?
No.
I think they'd be in shock, surely.
They would probably be in shock.
You might not get the validation that you're seeking.
Yeah.
It's the best joke you've ever thought about.
Would you want to waste it when someone's really not going to respond to it? At best, you'll be huh? And at worst, it's going to be what
It's
the
not
fuck
a
are you
problem.
saying
Do
right
I
now?
have leeway to amend the joke so it's topical? Ooh, the plane crashed into the towers. Here's a joke about the plane and the tower.
I think
That's really insensitive.
I think that's worse, yeah. You can't tell a normal joke when 9/11 just happened.
Okay.
But to then tell a 9/11 joke the second after it happened, that's worse.
That's wild.
That's weird.
It's only just became funny in the last few years.
It's only become
only become a
socially
meme.
acceptable to
Yeah, yeah.
Talk
Joke
about
about it? Okay.
So imagine you're right there, the towers got hit, and you're thinking, fuck, I can't, who am I gonna tell this joke?
You were on your way to the office, and you were the guy
My
at the
office,
office.
but this is definitely...
Yeah.
Okay.
The guy at the office is gonna love this one. It's fuck.
You've got a little notebook where you write down jokes, and you finally got one, because you try every day, and no one laughs.
Oh, I see.
And now you have one, you tried it with your wife, she laughed.
Oh,
and she's a tough audience.
Okay.
She's a tough nut to crack.
Okay.
You got her for once, you got your wife. And you're thinking, maybe for once, I will get some validation out of work. And then 9/11 happens.
I mean, first off, in your scenario, I wouldn't be with someone that didn't find me funny. So, so right there,
Good for you,
I can't relate to this story at all.
Good for you.
If my wife's a tough audience, that's just not worked in the first place.
Oh, right, so you're just reconfiguring
So, my
Well,
life
in
would be
your
very
case,
different.
your audience is like your cat, or your solo.
Okay, yeah.
Your character has a different...
I got a chuckle out of the cat.
Yeah.
And, okay, so I know it hits. I know it slaps.
Is this
The
an
cat, yeah.
anthropomorphic cat? Is this a cat that you hallucinate about?
I think this is my pet cat
No,
in New
cats,
York.
humans, cats, we communicate. So
That's just a cat.
Stan told the joke to their I don't want to assume your cat's gender. You're a cat.
Yeah.
And the cat chuckled a little bit. Not a belly laugh, but a chuckle. But cats are
But
hard to please.
I've had this cat for 5 years.
You've
We've
had
been
a cat for
living in
5
a small
years.
apartment because it's New York.
Yeah, of course.
And the cat gives a weird meow. I've not heard this meow before, so I take that as a chuckle.
So you're saying, okay, so in your scenario, you got a cat.
Yeah.
It did a... You're like, oh shit. Cat likes
This is a good one.
Yeah.
I think it's really difficult because it's when is a good time? Because also every conversation you have with someone for quite a while after will be about how you were there.
Right, yeah.
You were walking towards them as the
And all
towers
you were
fell.
thinking about was this
And
joke.
I'm also was thinking about this joke. You're gonna have to wait. It's great if you wait for 10 years and that's part of your stand-up routine. But for
that's nice.
10 years after the fact, you can't really tell that part of the joke.
Well, I think the other alternative is you try to find people that have yet to know about 9/11, right?
Right.
You try and work out, your friend circle, your network. You're all right, these guys were on holiday,
That's
these guys were there. Then you send them the joke.
It's almost near impossible though.
Well, I don't know if it's that impossible because
Like they're in Hawaii.
they're like Hawaii.
I obviously was not a
Alive
functioning
back
human.
then.
I was alive. I just wasn't a functioning human back then. But I feel like I've heard about people saying like, oh, back then you would be calling up friends, being like, hey, have you seen this shit? So my plan would be, I'm calling up a friend, let them know about the towers falling. But before I do that, I tell them I'm just like, hey, I got this amazing joke. Tell me what you think of it. Tell them the joke, and then after, oh, that's a good joke. By the way, fucking turn on the news, any channel, does not matter.
The
towers have just fallen.
Your friend is gonna think you're a psychopath. Because you just brought up a joke and then you brought...
No. Because you can play it off, right? You're like, oh yeah, I'm just like at home, like chilling. Oh wait, what the fuck? Hey, turn on the news, and then it's like...
Oh yeah, you play it off in
segue.
real time.
It's a whole acting routine.
You segue.
That's
Okay.
smart.
Are you gonna be able to live with yourself though, that you lied to your friend like that?
Yeah, I didn't lie. I told him about 9/11.
Say, oh no, I'm on TV. This happened.
Yeah, I didn't lie.
But then is it okay if your joke is instantly being overshadowed?
Yeah. I got my validation. I got the chuckle.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
what you're really
Okay.
after. It's also a great way for them to remember the joke, because like, where were you on 9/11? I was like, oh, my friend actually called me up. Told me
said
this
this
really
sick
great
joke.
joke.
Yeah.
And then he told me about 9/11 happening. And he was telling me about it as he was seeing it on TV.
Yeah. So you would as the recipient of the joke, you'd remember it.
Yes.
more
It's actually better.
as well. Yeah.
It's like 2 in 1.
And then 10 years after that, that's a great story.
Oh, that's a
It's
great
like,
stand-up.
my friend
Great
just told
stand-up,
me
great-
a
yeah,
joke,
great
and
story.
then 9/11 happened.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Very happy with that.
See, that's it.
I
That's
think-
a pretty
we
short
worked out
scenario.
your riddle.
Yeah.
It wasn't really a riddle. I was just trying to get some...
What was your solution?
I didn't think about it.
Oh.
I just wanted to workshop it. I'm just imagining, I'm like, I got this joke, I'm looking at the towers. I'm imagining it would like eat me up, and then my life expectancy would go down quite a bit.
Oh.
And I'm like 35, and I'd die when I'm 40. And like
Oh.
on my deathbed, the nurse is there because I don't have any family because I'm alone. And nurse is there, and I'm like, oh, actually, I've got a joke. If you want to hear it before I die. And she's like, no, sorry, I've got other people that I have to take care of. And then I'm like, oh, I tried. And then I die.
That's a particularly
So
depressing.
that's
and
how I
dark,
envisioned it.
And yeah, it's particularly depressing.
Just
and dark,
to
actually.
change up your scenario a bit, because I think it's quite an easy one to not get eaten up inside. Just like we said, just call a friend. What if you're in the towers? You're on one of the. You're like on one of the lower floors. You're okay. You're gonna get out in time. It's scary.
Oh, you're gonna get out.
You're gonna get out in
You're gonna
time.
get out in time. Okay.
Oh, wow.
You've got a great joke. You're about to turn to your buddy in the cubicle over, and then plane crashes. What do you do then?
Shit, that's a hard one.
Well, I think your fight or flight kicks in probably,
Yeah.
like really intensely.
So you're gonna fight the plane.
Yeah, so it's like One Punch Man. So you're just gonna show up and like you're gonna punch the plane out of the building.
And then you die in the process because you get obliterated by the plane.
Yeah, you sacrifice yourself.
Yeah.
And
But then I wouldn't do that because then I wouldn't be able to tell my joke.
no one's
The
gonna
world
know the
would
joke.
never know my joke. So instead of saving the towers, I don't.
Well,
know
I think what I'd do is I'd send out a memo to people, like, you you look at your thing, it's like all recipients. And you send out a joke.
Before you go and save.
No, before I piece the fuck out. Like, we're all gonna die, here's my joke, love you all, goodbye.
That's crazy.
And then I survive because
That's
I'm
crazy.
like on the lower floors.
I do have a new idea where, so I spend the rest of my life building technology to telepathically communicate with people, and then I go back in time, because I've also developed that technology, and then I go back in time to before the 9/11 happens, and then I telepathically pass the joke out, and I see the reactions. They don't know it came from me. I just spread it out, see how many people laugh, and then 9/11 happens.
So here's my problem with that. You have gone back in time to the moment you thought of the joke.
Yeah.
You're instead telepathically projecting it to everyone around past you. Past you then has this joke, but can't use it because everyone's just heard it telepathically.
And he won't know that I did that.
He won't know that you did it.
I'll try to
But
explain it to
also,
him, maybe.
he'll be so bitter about it, he may not end up trying to work out telepathic technology or time travel and then you'd cease to exist.
I gotta
No,
warn
well,
him. I
that
gotta
depends
warn
on
him
how you
before
look
that.
at. That depends on how you look at like time travel, though. Because if you look at time travel in the perspective of like multiple timelines coexisting at once, actually they're kind of independent of each other, so it doesn't really matter.
I just gotta.
If you look at
I gotta warn
timelines,
him.
it's like, huh?
I gotta warn him, maybe.
Yeah, well, you could warn him, but I don't know. I feel like depending on the timelines and the kind of reality that we set the scenario in, it could be either or. Like it could matter, it could not. Like you would exist, but there would be a version of yourself that's bitter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like you would exist, but
That would
that
be
guy
horrendous.
would be like.
And what if that guy then becomes like JD Vance? Or
Yeah,
Trump?
sure.
What if I create like the new
JD Vance.
like right-wing leader, and then he's on the podium and he's like doing a speech for presidency, and then he says a joke,
Yeah.
and then he doesn't get any laughs. And what if the joke is that joke that JD Vance just did recently, where he said that Democrats say that Diet Mountain Dew is racist? What if that was a joke all along? What if that was a joke I had in my mind all along? So you know what? My moment's come. Diet Mountain Dew. Democrats, they'll say even that's racist.
He thought of that while 9/11 was happening. He's like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna wait
That's good.
at least 20 years till I can tell this to anyone.
That's good.
Second topic.
Dash, do you want to do your
Oh, me?
topic next? Yes.
Alright, okay.
What do you got for us today?
Right, okay, so my topic. Let me just reset them. My topic is kind of topical. Olympics have just started. This is being recorded on the 27th, so it's Olympics opening ceremony happened yesterday. It's kind of it rained a lot. So the balloon at the end was kind of cool. If you've seen it, it's alright. My topic of conversation is actually about the convicted rapist Van der Velde competing at the Olympics representing the Netherlands. He's a volleyball player, but he was convicted on raping a child in the UK.
12-year-old girl, if I remember the article right.
Yes, that's right.
When,
She was 12, he was something like 18.
When did he do this?
This was about, I think it was like, I can't remember actually, it was 8 years ago.
Okay.
8 years ago. He was sentenced to 4 years in prison in 2016 after admitting to 3 counts of rape against a 12-year-old British girl. He initiated a conversation, so to give you a little context, he initiated a conversation with this girl when he was in the Netherlands, she was in the UK, over Facebook. Then he flew over, waited until her mum went, gave her alcohol and, I think it was just alcohol really, and then raped her. Twice.
Ooh.
And the Dutch sporting committee says that, he's undergone treatment, he's done this, done that. He's better now, he acknowledges his mistake, all this stuff, and he's now on the volleyball team, competing in the Olympics.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe he didn't do much jail time because he was sentenced in the UK,
Yep.
then extradited back to the Netherlands,
Yes,
and then his sentence was reduced down to, I want to say, like 4 months in the end.
yes.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I think he did like a year. It was 4 years. His sentence was 4 years. I think he only ended up doing about a year. Something like that. For raping a 12-year-old 3 times. 3 different occasions.
With like alcohol and stuff.
Yeah.
I think, first of all, the 4 years is way too low for that.
Yeah.
First of all.
Yeah.
And then
Where
just a
do we?
year.
So I guess the topic I want to sort of discuss is where do we stand on that, and then secondly, can an individual be successfully rehabilitated and then introduced back into modern society? And I guess the sort of subline of that second question is more so about, given his position as a sports person on the national stage, what does that do? Is that like a good thing? Is that something that people should say, yeah, you know what, he learned his lesson, he went to therapy, he's alright now? Where does that stand for you guys?
I mean, as in rehabilitation, maybe, possibly, really case by case, and what that crime was
yeah.
in this case.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like he would have in, 8 years ago you said?
Yeah, 8.
Doesn't seem like in 8 years he would have learned that lesson.
No.
And also, he didn't do his time for it.
Mm-mm.
He did a year.
It's because in the Netherlands, the rape conviction was actually the equivalent that they gave him was actually for something called fornication.
Oh.
That was the crime. It wasn't rape.
God.
It's like an
Yeah,
underage.
it wasn't rape. Yeah. So there's a little bit of weirdness with
It's
the
like
Dutch
this-
laws as well.
If it's an underage person, isn't it like pedophilia if you're like 18?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it's pedophilia. Well, that's contentious. It's like he just became 18. He's kind of a minor. He just became an adult. Sure, that's a point of argument. Was it pedophilia? Was it just a standard mill rape? It's
getting real pedantic.
So
it does not matter.
It's the pedantic.
Did he issue any sort of statement on the matter? Has it been quiet? Has he been like, hey, I did this thing, I am now a reformed person, and I am really good at volleyball? Has he said something?
The only statements I could find from him were him trying to justify that he wasn't a pedophile. And that was the biggest mistake of his life, and that he has accepted his consequences as a result. But obviously there hasn't really been any consequences given the fact that he is still competing at national, international.
Because that was what my second thing was going to be. Maybe rehabilitation could be possible, but that doesn't mean that person should be on the world stage in any format. No. Because then that legitimizes what he does.
Exactly. I think that's the thing. It's because he's not only is he back. So that's the guy. Not only has he come back into the Olympics, but before this, he's also competed in the World Championships and stuff like that. So for the Dutch sort of sporting people, they've sort of looked at him and thought, yeah, well, he's a really good player, so we're going to definitely have him. He's married now. He has a child.
Oh God.
Yeah.
That doesn't. Yeah, that part really shouldn't be a thing. That's
it's weird, isn't it?
That's even worse.
Which goes hand in hand with my question about rehabilitation and the value of that in a society that recognizes that someone should have an opportunity despite doing something so atrocious.
I might have gotten information wrong somewhere, but I think, at least in the UK, if you're convicted of something like that, you're kind of not allowed to have kids with someone. It's sort of your probation officer or so, we can't allow you to have a kid or be around a kid like this because, you're on the registry for life at that point.
Yes,
you're
you
a
are.
sex offender.
He is in the UK.
But not in the Netherlands. First of all, what the fuck is the Netherlands doing? That's insane.
Yeah.
It's weird that we only gave him 4 years here. Worse that the Netherlands didn't do shit.
Is he really, really good at volleyball?
Yeah, wait, how good is he?
How good is he?
Well, apparently, they must be banking on him coming back with something if they're willing to take this to the world stage.
Yeah.
Is volleyball... Are Netherlands known for their volleyball?
No.
Are they? I don't know. They're known for their tall people, aren't they? They have tall people, so volleyball is kind of
But...
I don't think they're notoriously
let's see,
the best
because I want to
volleyball
see
players.
why the hell they're trying to defend this guy.
Best volleyball countries. United States and Brazil are the best women's ones.
There you go, ranking complete list.
Men's volleyball, Poland, United States, Italy. Yeah, Italy's quite good. Japan, Brazil.
Where the hell is
13th. Yeah.
13th. So they're not even going to get a medal from this.
So maybe he's really good and he's their only hope.
Yeah.
To bank that much on volleyball, no disrespect to volleyball, but it doesn't, you're putting your whole country's reputation at risk.
The judge who sentenced him in the UK said, your hopes of representing your country as an Olympic athlete now lie as a shattered dream.
Which is not true.
And he has lost a stellar sports career and has been branded a rapist.
He is a rapist.
Plainly, it is a career end for him. That seems... Yeah, he went to the Dutch law and the charge of rape was substituted for fornication.
Ooh.
Do you think the Dutch government went in and they made some sort of deal with a judge and were like, this guy's too good at volleyball?
No, I think European courts in general have a different attitude towards sexual crimes in the sense that it is treated as a mental health illness, and so it's sort of this person doesn't need jail time; they need actual treatment. And the crazy thing about this, right, is that the Dutch Sporting Association actually didn't think this would be a big deal. They were we're surprised it's even getting as much attention as it has.
In the media.
Yeah, and so as a result, they also, you can read it in the bottom there actually, but they actually isolate him, so he's not allowed to be with his other teammates. He's also not allowed to do any media things. He's not going to be photographed or anything like that. Obviously, when he plays, he'll be on centre court. But sort of like, they're like, we're taking all the precautions, we've done all the risk assessments, and we think he's fit to play, and we think he's rehabilitated. That's their argument here.
Mm-hmm.
And that people who have been successfully rehabilitated deserve a second shot at their lives. So it's that sort of thing of like, well, you kind of ruined this girl's life, potentially forever.
Yeah.
You know, if she's lucky and she gets good therapy, maybe she'll be able to be a functioning person of society again, for whatever that's worth. But it's such a weird case. It's such a weird story.
I mean, the fact that the Netherlands doesn't see it as a big problem makes me think of like how many other athletes do they have, or other countries have in the Olympics that have done something. I mean, obviously there's the big one in the US with that. I can't remember the guy's name. The one that was really good at rowing or something. Same shit happened. It's like, is any of this that important? Where that's like a big. Clearly, it must have been a factor that went into his treatment after being convicted of this. Because if he wasn't a good volleyball player, maybe he would have still only gotten a year and loads of therapy. But he wouldn't be put on. They wouldn't take a random guy and put him on the national stage.
Like, what's a person like him though at this point? And I'm just thinking, what are they even meant to do with like the rest of their life?
I don't know.
I
mean, the thing is, like, so my opinion on this is that, like, I understand the perspective of rehabilitation and the value of rehabilitating people who have done crimes like this. Does it necessarily mean that it's a one-for-one, like, the idea of justice for the person who was the victim versus the life of the person who committed the crime is a complicated thing. But if you are able to move on and say, look, you have been rehabilitated, I'm okay with that. I like the idea of someone being able to have a second chance despite the tragedy of what they did to another person. I get that. The thing I don't agree with is actually them representing their country on an international stage, because that gives the wrong impression of, I can just rape someone if I'm a white guy from a European country.
That's the big issue. He should be more punished, and
it's like if they got Kevin Spacey to be like, he's like the new presenter at the Oscars. Yeah. Like, hey, I'm Kevin Spacey. You all love me.
But he's so good at talking.
He's like the best. There's only one Kevin Spacey.
And apparently, after he was released, he complained about all the nonsense reporting on his crime.
What was the nonsense? Does he describe that?
The nonsense there is like he complained about people calling him a pedophile because he said, I'm not a pedophile. And then he's like, I'm not into other splitting hairs. He's like, I'm not into other 12-year-olds, just this one 12-year-old in particular.
He said he made that choice in my life when I wasn't ready. I'd say out of the two people, I'd say one of the two was more not ready than the other.
If you have the ability and money to fly to another country, I feel like maybe you should be ready to make these decisions. Like, that's quite a lot to do.
Yeah, he traveled from the Netherlands to Milton Keynes.
Like, I wasn't traveling abroad when I was, at least on my own, when I was 18.
Yeah.
I feel like if you have that kind of clearly money and like the ability, just you're clearly mature enough to go overseas on your own
and accept the consequences of
that.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of weight has to be put on the Dutch court. The Dutch court took the charges that were taken very seriously in the UK, and they switched it up for fornication. Why is fornication a crime?
That must be maybe that's like maybe it's a holdover. Maybe that's what their rape charge is. I don't know,
because fornication just means sex.
Yeah.
Well, what was, I might be completely wrong about this, but I think fornication was the. No, I'm wrong. But it sounds more like it's a lower offence.
Yeah, it is.
Like, I feel like that's what people would have called, like, when being gay was a crime.
Yeah,
it's like you were fornicating with a man, and that's the crime.
Yeah.
Fornication seems like they really lowered it down to make it seem like it really wasn't a big deal. How are his teammates playing with this guy?
Yeah.
And not being like, the fuck?
I'm sure that there is a certain camaraderie there where it's sort of like,
Yeah, maybe.
Again, like, I can't speak for Dutch values.
Yeah.
We're looking at this from a lens where we are in the society that we're based in and looking at it from the outside in. So
I suppose if it's a case of if they try and protest it, they don't get a chance to go to the Olympics.
Yeah. I mean, like,
still, that's just like for
the thing is, like, if something like this happened in the UK, they'd be gone. They'd be erased. I mean,
I
you
would
look
hope
at look at the incident that happened to the famous horse riding equestrian athlete. I forget her name, but she's one of the most decorated athletes of all time for the UK. She was found that she whipped her horse too many times.
I saw that. Yeah.
Like, you know, and she like
she had to step down, right?
Well, she stepped down on her own volition just before she was basically kicked out from all the aspects. So Olympics, the Sporting Association here kicked her out. She got her funding pulled out. All of her sponsors pulled out, and that's her beating a horse, which is. I mean, you gotta train your horse somehow. I'm not sort of saying that's like a good thing to like abuse a horse or an animal, but like you can imagine if there was a similar crime like this that happened to an athlete or a sports person here, they'd be cancelled. That'd be it. They'd be gone.
Surely, yeah.
Media wouldn't report about them. They'd be gone. They'd just be out of the limelight because that's not something that the British values stand for.
That's what the judge thought he did.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
in
he
the
clearly
UK.
thought he
Yeah,
was.
in the UK.
He was like,
So-
your career's over.
Yeah.
The whole point of the Olympics is like, it's all about optics. Olympics are all about reputation of your country. It's all about optics and reputation. So that's literally like the last place where you want your country to be represented. Because people are just going to now associate Dutch and Netherlands with someone who raped a 12-year-old.
I mean,
It's
a
like,
lot
it's
of
not
what our
smart.
conversations getting into is like, oh, I guess this thing's not seen as a big deal in the Netherlands. That's not a great look for the Netherlands.
No.
So that's the thing. I don't understand it. It's a tough thing. My opinion on it. So if we're going to do like final opinions on this, I think my opinion on it is that I think it's really great that there is a system in place in the Netherlands, clearly, which I'm not educated about. So this isn't like a strong opinion or not. I don't know what the process is.
Mhm.
But it is nice that it seems like there is a process in place in the Netherlands to rehabilitate and educate these people so that they can continue on with their lives. If they've satisfied risk assessments and checks and things like that, which is what they claim to do. What I don't like is I don't think someone who's done something like he has, i.e. rape a person, or rape a child, sorry, let's be clear, rape a child, I don't think they should be representing their country.
No.
I think play volleyball, play whatever, be a coach, whatever you want to do. I don't think you should be a international sports person representing your country. I think it sends the wrong message. Regardless of what your opinion is on the rehabilitation side of things, I think it's just not the right message to send across.
No, I agree. I have the same opinion. I was like, it's great that there's a rehabilitation process there. I do think people have a second chance, but I don't necessarily think that person should have a second chance to be world famous in any way. And I also think it's very fair to the victim who now would be
Has
watching.
to see him on TV.
Yeah, we'll be seeing him on the big screen playing volleyball.
Yeah.
Or even if they don't see that, they must have seen the news of he is playing.
Yeah. Or their parents or whoever, family members.
Like, it's great that he may be rehabilitated.
Yeah.
She probably is going to need more rehabilitation after seeing this.
She's probably going through some trauma because of that,
No, I fully agree. I think they probably have a very like cut and dry approach to this type of stuff, being like a quote unquote very like progressive or evolved country. They probably think he's done his time, he's rehabilitated. People are, go about your life. That's why they're all like shocked about it. But it's just not. It's not a smart or sensitive move.
No.
It's like when people see people that are like have harassed him or abused him like in a film, and then all the allegations come out. It's because you're exposing this person to constantly having to think about him.
Yeah.
So they should have put some sort of like rule or regulation that he had to like avoid being in the media or like do,
I mean, they have, but like once their name comes up on the roster, there's nothing you can do. People are gonna pick.
No, I mean like at all, like Olympics, like this type of event.
Yeah.
Should have
I
just
agree.
been.
I mean, the IOC, the Olympic Committee, should have just banned him from.
Yeah, they can do that.
Yeah,
like it's not like they've not done something like this.
And it's really funny because it is funny. The other countries around, so Australia, India, and a couple other countries have outright come on and said we would never put a rapist out to represent our country, which is a very easy take. It is the easiest win that you have in your life.
In the U.S., Sha'Carri Richardson got banned for like 6 months for like she had a little bit of weed in like her, like her urine test or whatever.
Well, Americans are fucky about and the IOC is fucky about a little bit of weed. Rape a child.
That's fine. Yeah.
As long as
Do a
you're not
little bit of
doping.
weed.
I just hope for Netherlands' sake that he's actually really good. Because if he sucks and he's a rapist, then
I don't think-
you're done.
What does he have
You're
going?
done. Yeah.
They don't have a win in this though, right? So say he loses, headlines will be convicted child rapist
Sucks.
loses at Olympics.
Yeah.
He wins,
It's
even
worse. It's
bronze
even
or
worse.
higher. It's just going to be as like he shouldn't be allowed the medal.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
there'll be more protests about it. It's like he should not be allowed to accept that medal.
Exactly. So, there you go.
I
Yeah.
hope there's
Yeah.
a story in
Interesting
a
topic.
few weeks of he got beaten up. Some of the boxing
I
athletes.
think he shouldn't be beaten up. I think he just shouldn't have been here in the first place. Now that he's here, I don't know.
I'd
see how
say
it
both
goes.
are true. He should have been there in the first place. But since he's there,
Why not beat him up? Okay. We don't condone violence or
No,
instigate
don't
violence.
condone
So
violence.
If you're a British Olympian or listening to this, or any kind of Olympian listening to this in the
If you're an Olympian
in the-
listening
in
to
Paris.
this,
don't beat him
yeah,
up.
what the
thank
fuck you doing? Go
yeah,
train.
Go train. What are you doing here?
Yeah.
Go have sex in
Yeah.
a cardboard bed.
Yeah,
Oh, that's really inappropriate, considering what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Damn.
Okay, cut. Great.
Third topic.
Alright, next topic. Is,
Next topic.
So, keeping on the Olympic train here, bit of a more fun's the wrong word, but a bit more of a heartwarming story, more about what the Olympics should be about, maybe,
Okay,
I
okay.
guess. But I want to get you guys' opinion on it.
Mhm.
So I'll read the headline and then I'll give you some more detail.
Okay.
Australian hockey star amputates finger to play at the Olympics.
Okay.
So an Australian field hockey player, Matt Dawson, amputated part of his finger to compete in the Paris Olympics. After breaking his ring finger, doctors gave him a choice: amputate or miss the games. Dawson chose amputation to ensure his fitness for his third Olympics.
Cool.
What
Good for
finger
him.
was it?
His ring finger.
String finger.
So it was either he would have to go through, I guess a lot of physical therapy to keep his finger, but it eventually would be okay. But he would have to miss the Olympics. So instead, he opted just to have it chopped off so that he could keep training and be in the Olympics.
What's this guy's name?
Matt Dawson.
What about us?
Right?
Yeah.
That's much more
That's cool.
I wish he didn't have his finger chopped off, but way cooler.
I'm just looking at a photo of his amputated
That's
finger.
like barely an amputation.
it's like
That's
the
like you
skeleton.
chop off
I
like the
mean,
top bit of it.
That's still that finger's not usable now though.
I
It's
think-
like it's
I
got
don't need the
grip,
ring finger.
like grip wise, yeah, it's still fine, but it's like it's basically the end of his fingers chopped off.
He's got a story to tell.
Yeah, I think it's a lot more about human perseverance.
Well, I'm a bit disappointed. I thought he chopped off his entire finger.
I will say I also thought it was more of his finger. This is less of this finger than I was hoping for, but I'm
It's still a nice, wholesome.
I'm just thinking if you walk around in a trench coat in Hackney or Brooklyn,
yeah.
and you got your hand in your pocket and you're going on a date, and then you sit down with the other person, then you put your hands on the table and boom, half of your finger's missing. That's pretty epic.
Yeah, it would be a conversation. No one's going to see his hand and be like, oh, nothing happened to
But
him.
I don't think I'd even pick up on it. I think I'd be like,
Really?
sure. I wouldn't give a shit.
I think I'd definitely ask about it, and I feel
so.
like
I don't
it's
know
a
if I'd
pretty
ask
cool
about it.
story, because I think I would, I'm too nosy. But it's a really cool story. It's I got it chopped off
That's
so I
cool.
could compete in the Olympics.
I mean, it's sick. I like the fact that he was willing to do that, despite the fact that he had the option to actually save his finger.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Just because he wanted to compete in the Olympics. That's more about what the Olympics
yeah.
should be about, of
Absolutely.
human perseverance and how
Yeah.
far humans can
My
go.
question is,
Absolutely.
does Australia have a chance at medals? Or
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, that's
Australia's good at
Okay.
finger hockey, yeah.
There we go.
Because if they didn't have a chance at that,
No.
and then,
Unlike the last story, I want this guy to win gold now.
let me see. Saying.
They got silver.
They reached the final in 2004. They got silver. Okay.
They got silver in 2020, right?
The selected.
No, 2004.
They reached the
They got
final in
silver.
2004. So he's
Yeah.
been around he's been doing it for a while actually.
Yeah, this will be his
Ah, no.
third
They reached
Olympics.
it.
No,
They got
no.
silver in 2020.
Yeah.
They reached the final for the first time since 2004 in 2020.
So
So
what did they
with
do
him,
in
they got silver, I guess.
Yeah, 2016, 2020. Did they get silver?
In 2020, yeah, they went to the
They
finals.
reached the final for the first time since 2020. 2004. Yeah. So they
So
got
I
silver
guess
last
he
year.
was probably an important contributor to.
Important contributor, just good to get another medal kind of thing. I mean, what's a little bit of a finger if you get another chance at the medal, to be honest.
And I mean, you know, age of athletes is quite young. He's 30, so it's a good chance it could end up being his last chance.
True.
So yeah,
Cool, awesome.
hoping this guy wins the gold. I'll
Approved.
definitely watch the field hockey. I will avoid volleyball like the plague.
I think it's also 2 people volleyball. It's a beach volleyball or
Oh.
something. Because I like team volleyball, so I'm gonna watch that. But yeah,
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
I
yeah.
will actually also avoid watching the beach volleyball stuff. Because I mean, fuck that.
Yeah, no.
I honestly, it's the Olympic Committee's fault. It's their own problem. This is the whole drama. It's their problem. It's their fault.
Like when I was looking up the story, part of me was thinking, are the Olympic Committee going to try and fuck this guy and be like, well, no, actually, you need to be in the Paralympics now?
Well, what you could
Like, can you imagine?
No,
This child rapist gone for this guy. They're like, well, actually, you're technically in the
out.
Paralympics now.
No. Well, technically, if you're a disabled athlete, you can actually compete in the regular Olympics. Obviously,
no,
you know,
of
it's
course.
much tougher. The competition.
I'm imagining the volleyball player. I see 2 scenarios. He's playing a game. One scenario, everyone in the stands has a shirt with the face of the girl.
Mm-hmm.
Oof.
Scenario number 2, everyone in the stands is a child.
Oh no!
Like he's
bro.
playing a game and everyone is like underage.
That's the kind
it'll be uncanny. He's playing. He's like,
Oh.
That's like the end to some like weird psychological.
Yeah,
thriller.
that's a
it's like a punishment.
That's
for
a
him.
Yorgos film.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
a Yorgos film.
Final scene. I'm just.
That's a Yorgos Lanthimos film.
Goes to play beach volleyball. He looks in the crowd. It's all just 12-year-old faces.
Yeah,
around him.
like girls.
He can't
All
escape
girls.
it.
I can't. That's too.
That would
That's
be
a great
something.
film, actually. I think
Yeah.
It's a good film.
That's a
It's
great.
surreal if it happens in real life. I mean, fucked up.
It
Oh,
wouldn't-
that would
it
be so
wouldn't.
fucked up.
Yeah.
It wouldn't. But it,
That's
I mean,
good.
keeping on track with like wholesome news.
Sorry, I
it-
thought some
it-
of the guy took his finger off.
Britain has won their first medal.
Oh.
They won one in the morning for diving. It was very
Oh,
tight.
yeah.
At the expense of the Australians, who actually fucked up. They could have won. They could have gotten bronze, but they fucked up, so we got bronze. I feel happy about that.
Cool.
You know,
We do
Australia's
love the
lost
water.
is our game. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
So that was
masters
nice.
used to be masters of the oceans, masters of the water.
True.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
I mean, sailing, we're always near the top for that. So.
True. I mean, it's. I mean, the same people who competed last year got bronze this year. So pretty good. Competed with like the Americans and the Chinese, who are absolutely amazing.
Oh, they were top 2.
Oh,
American,
yeah.
Chinese.
Chinese
are
than
crazy.
the American.
Yeah.
Chinese have dominated diving sports for the last 2 decades, I think.
I
so.
feel like they just
Wild.
dominate every sport at a certain point. Like,
Well,
like most.
The US
Yeah.
has
they
like
have a
the-
strong team for
Yeah,
everything.
they do.
US has the highest medal count. So.
Alright. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the vibe.
I think that's a good place to wrap this episode of
Yeah, I think
Late
so.
Stage Yapitalism.
Yeah. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for joining us. Yeah. See you next time.
Peace.
Late Stage Yapitalism.